Hi everyone, Internet PCS book reader here. Today I want to talk about Real by Takehiko Inoue. I don't think Takehiko Inoue needs any further introduction, but I'll do a little bit anyway in case people miss him somehow. He's one of the best mangaka there is. Later on, he'll write Vagabond, a fiction based on the exaggerated life of the famous swordsman Musashi. He also worked on the character design of a very underrated JRPG, Lost Odyssey. He first became known from creating the basketball manga Slam Dunk. Slam Dunk was such a great manga by the time it finishes its story that it was considered by many as either the greatest sport manga or at least the greatest basketball manga of all time. But Slam Dunk 2 started as a gag manga and then switched the tone of the story around halfway point. The first half of it doesn't match how great it became later on in my opinion and made it hard to place it as the greatest of basketball manga. I mean, the story starts with the main character Hanamichi Sakuragi getting into a basketball challenge with the school basketball team captain, and the whole school comes to watch. Even though later on we knew that the team is not even that popular at the school, the first half feels more like High School Musical compared to the latter half of Slam Dunk. That's why I don't think Slam Dunk as a whole package is the greatest storytelling. And Slam Dunk is not the only basketball manga that Takehiko Inoue wrote. After finishing Slam Dunk, he went on to write another basketball manga, Real. Our main character in this story is Nomiya. Like Sakuragi, he is a delinquent who is not accepted by others. And also like Sakuragi, he doesn't even know how to act to girls that he likes, so in his youthful eagerness, he acted more like a creep and got rejected by them. And like Sakuragi, Nomiya found basketball and got obsessed to it too. The difference is that Sakuragi found a team that recognized his talent and pulled him away from the directionless life he led before. Good people who don't back away in disgust when they saw him died here and all in 90s Japan. Nomiya was rejected by his fellow team member because of his brash attitude and he got a permanent injury that made him stop basket and eventually drop out of school. A future that Sakuragi might have had if he did not found the Shohoku team. He shit in the toolkit at the end of his days there, then he went to hospital to visit the girl who he had an accident with, Yamashita Natsumi. After the accident, she became a paraplegic who don't even react to her environment anymore. He took a walk with her and that's when he heard the sound of basketball being dribbled. He went to check the source of the sound and saw a guy in a wheelchair playing basket by his own. But at that moment, because he missed playing basketball so much, he only registered the ball. He begged the guy in a wheelchair to have the ball and tried to dunk the ball and failed. He then challenged Togawa Kiyoharu, the other main cast of the series, the guy in the wheelchair, on a one-on-one first to get 5 ball. Nomiya took Natsumi's wheelchair for Kiyoharu to use and asked for Kiyoharu's better wheelchair as a handicap for Kiyoharu, and then they played basketball. Kiyoharu, who is more experienced and still continued practicing, of course bested him and got 4 balls in, but in the 5th match, Nomiya started to learn how to play basket in a wheelchair and managed to fumble the ball out of Kiyoharu's hand. The ball went into Natsumi and for the first time after the incident, she smiles. The next day, Nomiya took a driving license and went into panic, hitting another car that is also panicking. That's how he met Azumi, a manager of a team of wheelchair basketball team. She casually invited him to maybe watch her team sometime and because it's her time, he came to their next game. Kyo also came to watch as one of the very small number of people who came to watch the game. The team lost but still celebrated anyway, and Nomiya and Kyo are both frustrated by how easily they accepted their loss. Nomiya noticed Kyo when he's about to go out, which, of course, there is only a few people after all, and he's the only one on a wheelchair. Kyo is Azumi's childhood friend, and he was once a member of this team, but he quit because of his team lack of attempt at winning the game. These are people who see being a paraplegic as already a losing thing and a reason to give up, while Kyo still believes that he can be more. Nomiya and Kyo took the bus home and they passed by Nomiya's old teammate Masaki. He's one of the only few friends that Nomiya have at school, and when Nomiya was outed from the school, Takashi and his basket team started bullying Masaki, the only guy alive who still cares about playing basketball to win the game. Masaki eventually lashed out and started a fight with the team, and he was suspended from school because of that. Nomiya visited, but Masaki didn't want to see anyone yet. Nomiya called Kyo, who at that time is visiting a friend of his, an old member who can no longer play basketball because of his sickness. Nomiya asked Kyo to come and play a game of basketball with him with his old teammate, a revenge match for Masaki. After talking with his teammate, Kyo eventually decided to go to the match, even asking Azumi to drive him there despite her having no license. They played a 2-on-2 basketball, and of course Nomiya and Kyo won the game, but because this is not Yu-Gi-Oh!, instead of repenting, Takahashi doubles down on bullying another teammate of him. At the end, he started to get too full of himself, feeling invincible. He stole a bicycle when he was out with his girlfriend so he can look brave and tough. But the bicycle belonged to a big, scary dude who is chasing him as he heads into traffic and an incoming truck. And with that accident, we have the third main cast of our story, Takahashi. Takahashi will be in a 7 days coma. In the meantime, Nomiya and Kyo started playing basketball to earn money. Nomiya so he can visit Natsumi in Nagano, and Kyo because he want to help pay for the big car that Asumi bought because he think he buy it so she could drive him around. But since Nomiya is not sure if he should visit Natsumi and Asumi rejected Kyo's money, they're both planning to use the money to compete on who can get their car license first. But the people who they have taken advantage of bring with them a big guy in a wheelchair to do a one-on-one with Kyo. Kyo accepted the challenge and they fought. The guy name is Mitsuru, a student from Southwest University in Australia, and he is beating Kyo hard. Nomiya, who is curious about him, also tried to challenge him and also lost. That was the first time Kyo lost against someone in a wheelchair. As if they're not miserable enough, Nomiya got into a fight with some thugs and lost all his money there. He then of course got into further trouble from seeing one of the thugs in his work and attacked him, making him lose his job. On the other hand, Kyo tried to go back to his old team. Things not only were tense because he did not break up on the best terms since he punched one of the team members. He managed to go back, but because he has been playing alone so far without any actual game except for the small ones he did with Nomiya, his skill has gone so far down compared to where he was before he quit. Meanwhile, Takahashi comes to the realization that all that he had accomplished was nothing. The people who flocked to him when he was popular and his popularity itself is all gone along with the function of his legs. Nomiya then goes to watch the final of his old school, but with the team losing both Nomiya and Takahashi, since most of them follow Takahashi to not go into practice or use practice to bully the teammates they don't like, they lost miserably as Nomiya watches from the audience. And as you might have noticed, the story of Real focused even more on the characters. The author put more effort and emphasis on the character writings. These are all three people who have lost their place in society due to one reason or another, even if it's the fake one that Takahashi have. Even Gyo was once a sprinter who dreams of becoming the fastest runner, then got his dream shattered by osteosarcoma, a bone disease that took away his legs. But thanks to meeting Nomiya, he found a new dream in wheelchair basketball. There is always people who will try to put him and the team members down with their crab in a bucket mentality. But the Tiger team, from seeing how much fun Kyo was having, I also realized that it's okay to still want to win despite their disability. Nomiya, who did not know that he's the reason for Kyo's change, decided to finally visit Natsumi in Nagoya because he was inspired by Kyo's progress. But Natsumi has moved on. He saw her on physical therapy trying to move from the wheelchair to her bed. She failed, but she still tried and tried even without him. He is the one who has caused her disability, but she doesn't need him to be better. She doesn't need him to fix her. They did become friends later on, but that's another journey for Nomiya and Natsumi. The only one who have gone on a journey to become a person who he wanted to be. Nomiya is still lost and Takahashi is still in hospital, coming to terms with the fact that he will never walk again, let alone play basketball. At one point, Takahashi even got to the lowest point of his life that he tried to end his own life. It was right after that when Nomiya, who still did not know that Takahashi has been through since they're not friends, came to visit him in the hospital and apologized. It's one of his self-rediscovery journey after changing his haircut into Jordan's haircut. They talk about what the finals would have been like if only they're both in the game, but Takahashi eventually lashed out to Nomiya to the point where Nomiya found out that Takahashi has lost his legs. And with that meeting, Nomiya will also change how Takahashi will tackle his disability purely out of not wanting to lose to Nomiya at first. But all three of them will slowly but surely in their own way tackle their internal conflict in this way. Okay, I'll admit, Real is barely a basketball manga. It is more of a human drama where the characters will have to face such unfairness in life, where they have to ask, is what they've done so far to achieve something real that was taken from them meaningless just because they are unable to achieve them now? If so, should they just give up? Should they become like this guy who try to trample on other people's dreams because they are ashamed of giving up on even trying? It's a story about losing what you have and then finding a new goal in life instead of giving up entirely on life. And in a world where it is so unfair, so easy to lose, so easy to give up, to just accept the easy answer of blaming and hating others instead of putting the effort of rediscovering yourself, I think it's a story with a message that is only going to be more important as time goes on. And it's not like basket is entirely unrelated to the story. It is still the core of it because the story is using it as a foundation for rebuilding what has been lost for these characters. If you like the characters in Slam Dunk and their struggle that is not just playing basketball, It's a long and difficult journey, and some of the characters can be really unlikable during those journey, but I still highly recommend this. I give this a 5. What do you think? Let me know if I missed anything, so leave your thoughts in the comment below and subscribe to the channel. That's about it. See ya.